There is a smelly problem in the heart of the world building in the Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, and the Stormlight Archive. Okay, now what is the particular opening hook that would be really awesome? The opening hook that would really get everyone to pay attention would be the world building in the Stormlight Archive is shit. It is shit. Do you disagree? Please disagree, okay? So basically, I really wanted to talk to you about this this morning. Grab something. Let's have a nice conversation, just you and me. There is a problem, okay? I've just noticed it with the Stormlight Archives, world building in book 2, okay? It is that the world building is really lacking. But it's not for the reason you might think. It's not that, Rosha is a terribly built world. No, in no way, for a second, do I believe that Rosha is terribly built. Okay, it's really not. Okay, it's actually the best constructed world in the last 2 decades. And this is just my opinion, okay? The issue is how so much of that we just do not see in the Stormlight Archive. So much of that is off-page, okay? The world of Rosha, first of all, is one of the best built worlds. But there is a tragedy, because even though it is the best constructed world in the last 2 decades, the tragedy is how the books really don't showcase any of that. We see great amount of world building, but a ton of that has to do with more or less the same things, okay? It has to do with the desolations. It has to do with the Knights Radiant. It has to do with Dalinar building the Knights Radiant, okay? It has to do with the Shattered Plains, and it has to do with Shadesmar, Spren, and also, Kaladin and, Shallan and these different characters learning their powers, okay? I forgot, yes, is the high storms, and basically the effects the high storms has on the fauna, which is like the terrain as well as the life forms. Okay, so the Shattered Plains and the Bridgemen. Okay, the dynamics between the Light Eyes, the Dark Eyes, and the Barshendi. That's really most of what we get to see. But the problem is how Rosha is a good world, not because we get to see it in the story, but because it just is a well-built world outside of the pages. So to give you an example, the color of magic, okay? Remember, the Disc world, especially this first book, The Color of Magic, is 73,000 words. The Way of Kings is close to 400,000 words, okay? So do we have that in our head? Okay, let's go. In this first novel, we see the insanely fantastical city of Ankh-Morpork, okay? Then we see the luggage, the sentient freaking luggage, man, of Two-Flower. And then they go on this particular adventure after a major event happens, okay? They go to the temple of the Soul Eater. Then we have Wittenberg, the upside down mountain, where there are literally dragon riders whose dragons are literally imagined, okay? Because this world runs on something called narrativium. Narrativium is really awesome because it means if you can tell a story about it, or if you can really believe something hard enough, you can make it reality. So the Disc world is really the best absurdist fantasy you will find out there. Anyhow, then there is the kingdom of people at the edge of the Disc world, the Carulians. They have enslaved a sea troll from another world that fell onto this Disc world, which is also an amazing concept. They want to fly off the world so they can discover the gender of the great turtle. There is so much more that I am technically not mentioning and omitting, but I really want you to understand this, okay? I want you to really understand what just happened, okay? We got to see more of the Disc world. No. We got to literally travel to the edge of the Disc world in 73,000 words, okay? This is really what I mean. In a novel that is less than 300 pages, okay, we see more locations and more of the Disc world than we see in 2,586 pages of, the first 2 books, right, in the Stormlight Archive. Okay, we see more in less than 300 pages of the Disc world than we see in over 2,500 pages of Stormlight archive when it comes to Rosha. This to me is just, you know, sad, because I really think Rosha is a very supremely well built world. Now, is that a problem? Because keep in mind, up to the end of book 2, the story is a collective 2,586 pages in paperback, okay? And the total published page count so far is about 4,000 paperback pages. This is not normal. This is literally some people's entire lives output, okay? Sanderson has written in less than a decade more than people do in the entire lifetime. It really is not normal. To assume this is normal is crazy. I say this because I know some people will say, wait for the 10 books to conclude and then you will see more of the world of Rosha. But currently I'm reading Eye of the World. And within just the first 10%, we also get to see far more of the world than we get to see in, you know, the entirety of The Way of Kings, which is insane because The Way of Kings is literally over 1,000 pages. It's just stuck in the freaking Shattered Plane. This becomes dull. The amount of descriptions of just utter dry land, just, I want to clog my ears. I want to flog my ears, man. Lies of Loch Lamora. So much of that story takes place in Camo, the city of Camo, okay? But first of all, Lies of Loch Lamora and Red Sea and the Red Skies are not, by any means, they are not collectively 2,500 pages. Number 2, they are collectively not even 1,000 pages. I'm not even sure. The Lies of Loch Lamora is quite a fat book. I don't have the particular statistics. You can check it. But number 2, a lot of that is really described beautifully with language, because Scott Lynch writes so beautifully that he can describe the same thing twice and each sentence will feel exquisite, like its own chocolate, its own world, its own flavor. This is the mark of someone who knows how to use the English language in order to tell a story. Sanderson is so dry and he's so mechanical with his prose, and every time he describes the Shattered Plains, he literally describes it bluntly. This means every time he's smacking your head with the same type of flavor, okay? And that ends up making the Shattered Plains feel so terribly unbearable after 2,500 pages. Okay, I'm done with the Shattered Plains. I hope in God's name that Sanderson, you know, goes to more locations in Oathbringer, because I cannot in any way tell, like in The Color of Magic, we get to literally see the Discworld. Okay, this is illegal. No one should really be doing this. It's so good, man. And also, that's not taking into account Terry Pratchett's, you know, beautiful prose, beautiful use of the English language, man. Okay? Anyway, I sound like a hater. I really love the Stormlight archive. I think it has some of the best action. It has some of the best characters. It has some of the best world building. And number 2, the issue here is how Sanderson's prose, which is mechanical and blunt, coupled with his tendency to just stay in the Shattered Plains and more or less those locations, leads this story, these first 2 books that I read, to become so unbearable toward midway into Words of Radiance. I just could no longer bear. Okay, man, you had that type of description for the 1,000th time. I will kill you if you do it one more time. And then he does it in the next page, which is, I'm running away. Bye-bye. I'm going back to Africa. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed it. Okay? Bye-bye. And take care of yourself. It's quarantine. You know, don't, you know, make sure that you are seeing different things, okay? Make sure you have novelty in your life, okay? Have a nice day. Bye.